Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason. Here are your hosts, Richard Saunders and Stefan Sojka.
Richard.
Yes, hello, Stefan. Yeah.
You better watch out.
You better what?
You better watch out.
Yeah.
You better not cry.
Are you going to tell me why?
Yes. Well, if I wasn't such a skeptic, I would think that Santa Claus could be coming to town, but I don't think he is.
And I'm in New Zealand right now. Did you know that?
That is pretty amazing.
I'm in Auckland, sort of as we speak.
You are. So what I'm looking at right here in front of me is some sort of projection of my own mind.
It is.
I'm
projecting.
I'm fantasizing about you existing.
The future. In a couple of days in the future, I'm projecting myself back to this office studio.
Oh, no, you've just caused some sort of rip in the space-time continuum right here in this office.
I was just watching an old episode of Doctor Who this morning, written by Douglas Adams, called The Pirate Planet with Tom Baker.
Oh, yeah.
And I enjoyed that.
Any space-time continuum tears in that one?
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere. It's like shredded. Well, it's great to be. Is this the final one for the year?
Well, this is going out on the 21st of December, so there will be one more.
Well, there will be, but after Santa has left.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is the last one before Christmas.
Before Christmas. Oh, excellent.
And this is show number 270.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, 270.
If I was a mathematician, which I'm not, there'd probably be all sorts of factors of 270.
Well, you know what?
Like 90s and...
90? Strange you should say that. You know what 270 divided by 90 is?
3, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I just made it up. But that's the sort of thing a numerologist might take out.
Oh, yes. You know? That would make this episode extremely important.
Oh, it is extremely important.
Very relevant. And now, why is it so important? What is really going to be happening in this wonderful episode?
The keynote speaker, the featured guest of the Australian Skeptics National Convention was Professor Christopher French from the UK.
Oh.
And this episode, Maynard, and Maynard's Spooky Action, actually has a really interesting interview with Christopher French from the convention. And also to Jo Alabaster, who I only met recently at the National Convention.
Yeah.
She seems like a really nice lady. And Ruth and Alastair, who make their own geek jewellery.
Geek jewellery?
Geek jewellery.
Yeah, I suppose I've seen the occasional bit of geek jewellery. What, like little Daleks and stuff? Or
yeah. I think they have been known to make the odd Dalek or things like that. They make interesting jewellery which is a representation of 100 years worth of highs and lows in each capital city of Australia.
Is that right?
Yeah, and you can fit them together to see how one city compares to another.
Really?
In a circle.
In an earring or something?
I think it's like a pendant.
A pendant?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see chemical compounds and stuff as earrings. That
they do.
Be cool.
Yeah, I think they do like coffee and things like that, the molecules. Anyway. That's
excellent.
Coming up
that's
with
pretty
Maynard.
exciting.
That's pretty exciting.
It's with a Christmas theme, because you could probably buy those as gifts.
You can. Now, I know a little bit about geek jewellery because I make origami Pegasus.
You certainly
earrings.
do.
I do.
Among other things.
Other things. And what I'm really delighted to is when I go back to TAM in Las Vegas, someone will come up to me who bought my pair of earrings off me 4 or 5 years ago.
And they want their money back.
And they want their money back. But they're wearing them.
They're still wearing them.
And I'm looking at them thinking, wow, that process I use works. You know, these things.
You should increase the guarantee period, maybe.
What guarantee period?
Well, that's pretty cool. So what else we got going on?
Dr. Rachie comes by with a recap on the year in Dr. Rachie Reports.
Yeah.
Looking back at some of the big stories. Big stories. And at the end, to round off the show, you and I come back with a look at psychic predictions for 2013.
Oh, that's right. It's that wonderful time of the year where we look at all those predictions that are being made, or the ones that were made a year ago, and how they all turned out.
Now, you and I both have right here a copy of Psychic Directory 2013, which was published way back in January this year, and there are 2 pages worth of, here they are, predictions. Tomorrow's news today, the top predictions for 2013 from members of the Australian Psychic Association. We're going to be having a look at those. And making some predictions ourselves.
We're going to try to. I'm surprised that the psychics would actually have a directory, because couldn't they like implant the thought of their phone number into all their customers?
I'll give you the stock answer. They always give. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. Wish it did.
Well, let's get on with the show, because I'm hanging out to check out these predictions. I hope at least some of them have come true.
Me too. Yeah. We'll see. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Here's Maynard's spooky action at a distance.
Now, look, I was going to have a chat to this gentleman last night, but I needed to see what he was into and what his talents were, and I've discovered very few, but somehow you managed to get a trip to Australia out of it. Sir, who are you and what are you known for?
I'm Professor Chris French. I'm the head of the Anomalistic Psychology Research Unit at Goldsmiths, which is part of the University of London. And I've had a great time over here.
Look, you've been talking about all sorts of things. What's been the topic that's got the most reaction over? You were just talking about backwards masking here earlier. You were talking about Doctor Who and psychic paper and how it has some sort of basis in reality.
Yeah, I mean, the basic idea there was, trying to think of something that links in with Doctor Who and also my own research interests. And one of the things that struck me was that the whole idea with psychic paper in Doctor Who is that the Doctor can show this paper to people, they look at it, and they actually see stuff that means that, yes, he's allowed entry into this top secret facility or whatever it is. Now, the closest I could get to that is the phenomenon known as pareidolia, which is basically where people look at essentially random stimuli but see something clear and distinct. So the kind of everyday examples would be looking at the pattern on wallpaper or the grain of wood and seeing faces in it, that kind of thing. So
now, is this the part of the brain that distorts sometimes and gives people delusions and fearful things when they're in an alcohol-induced fever and that sort of thing?
Well, all kinds of things can influence the way that we perceive. Certainly, if you're in a fever, then you might tend to. This kind of thing will be exaggerated. You'll see kind of faces coming out of the wallpaper at you and all this kind of stuff. But it also happens, even during kind of normal perception. I mean, you and I would see it, but we wouldn't necessarily think that there really is a face there. We can see something that kind of looks like a face. What can happen in certain clinical conditions is that people give this stuff tremendous significance. So, the way that their pillow is crumpled on the bed, is taken as being a really significant sign, and they read all kinds of meaning and significance into it. But it's in a milder form, we're all prone to that kind of distortion. And one of the things that makes us so successful as a species is that we are really good at picking up on patterns in our environment. We're really good at making cause and effect links between things, but we overplay it. And sometimes we see meaning in randomness. We think we've seen a meaningful pattern when really it's not there at all. And we make cause and effect links that aren't really there at all. And this general tendency has actually, explains a lot of paranormal beliefs, a lot of beliefs in alternative medicine, a whole range of beliefs in conspiracy theories where people find connections between things that actually aren't really there at all.
Now, you're well known to the skeptical scene in the UK. What sort of flavour has the Australian skeptical scene got about it from the time you've been here? Do we do anything differently or in our own way?
It's I've done lots of talks since I've been here. I've mixed with various different skeptical groups, and by and large, it's been the same kind of interest, the same kind of themes, the same kind of topics that come up. I think there certainly are some differences, but just in quite minor differences. There's a bit more of an emphasis here on certain topics compared to the situation it would be in the UK. There seems to be quite a lot more emphasis here on things relating to sustainability, for example, energy, those kinds of issues. Climate change, again, big issue in the UK, but I kind of sense it's an even bigger issue here. So it's more a matter of degree and the detail rather than, the big themes are the same. And, I think that tends to be the case whether you go to a skeptical conference in Australia, the UK, America, Europe, wherever. Those big themes remain the same. And basically, I think we're all, hate to use a kind of religious analogy, but we're all singing from the same hymn sheet here,
Now, you've got a bit of a new hymn sheet for us. Your book's coming out shortly. Now, what are you focusing on in this book that both the layman or someone knows a little bit about anomalistic psychology, which is practically no one I know, but what can we learn from your book?
Well, the book's already out. It came out on the 1st of November in the UK. It can be ordered in Australia now. What we did with the book was to actually look at the whole range of psychology in terms of all its subdisciplines and say, what do each of the subdisciplines have to say about the kind of topics we're interested in? So, for example, if you think of developmental psychology, what are children's understandings of the paranormal and magic and so on? And when do they kind of move from believing in magic to thinking, actually, it's probably all a trick? When do they stop believing in Santa Claus? All this kind of stuff. You take the clinical perspective. Is it the case that people who believe in the paranormal are actually, the way that some skeptics believe, a little bit bonkers, a little bit nuts? Well, actually, no, it's not as simple as that, but there's some interesting questions to be asked. And you look at each of the different areas of psychology, and they've all got something to offer. So that's the way we've divided the book up. We have different chapters devoted to the clinical perspectives, developmental perspectives, neuroscientific perspectives, and so on. And I think that's quite a unique thing. I don't think anybody else has done that, and hopefully it can provide some insight.
Now, are there chemical markers, like in a child, for example, the brain develops and serotonin is released as a different rate as they get older? Can that sometimes cause delusions in a kid, that sort of thing?
Well, certainly neurotransmitters crop up in this kind of an area. A specific topic would be that there are lots of we deal with things like near-death experiences, and there are various models of what's happening during a near-death experiences that relate it directly to neurotransmitters, and so there are lots of different anomalous experiences that people can have that actually can be understood better if you know about the way the brain works and about the way the brain can sometimes malfunction. So all that's in there. And that's one of the fascinating things about the whole area, the way that lots of different kind of approaches all interact. So even if you take, say, the example of near-death experiences, on top of just the basic processes that might explain that in terms of what's happening to the brain, you've also got a kind of cultural overlay. So it depends on the specific culture the individual is in with respect to what are the details of the experience. So it's, they're kind of complex issues, but I think by trying to understand them, we can learn a lot about human psychology, and also a lot that actually generalises beyond just the realms of weird experiences and can inform our understanding more generally.
Look, and a purely English question here I have to ask you. You're from Manchester.
I'm not from Manchester. I did my degree in Manchester.
Oh, okay. Well,
I am from the northwest of England.
Okay, what is the go between Manchester and Liverpool? To me, they're two one. Look, that you got the Beatles, and then there was the Happy Mondays in Manchester. They were pretty top. I don't see what the rivalry is all about, because they're both great cities to me. They're both really good cities.
I'm happy with both of those cities. I'm very happy with both of those cities. At the moment, like any good Manchester United fan, I live in London. And I'm probably a typical Manchester United fan insofar as I very rarely actually get to the match these days, but I love watching it on the TV, and I am definitely a United fan. They're great cities. London probably has the edge for me. Kind of everything's there. You really do feel that you're at the place where things are happening.
Oh, which is good that the BBC's just moved out of there, then, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I did go to Media City to do a radio programme recently, and it's absolutely amazing there. If you ever get a chance to go to Salford, go. But
why would you go there if you weren't going to that place?
Well, you wouldn't.
It's very nice to diverse into the regional areas and spread it around a bit, but there's something about the centricism of London which is good.
Yeah, no, it's. As a northerner who's gone down south, obviously, I don't have the kind of anti-north bias that a lot of southerners have. On the other hand, I can see why why that happens, because there is this general sense that most of the important stuff is happening down here, isn't it? And I think, having said that, there's a lot of the cities in the UK. I mean, and with respect to scepticism, bringing it back to that topic, there are so many active skeptics groups up and down the country in the UK.
Look, my favourite UK podcast is Skeptics with a K.
Yeah,
I love
the Merseyside Skeptics.
They're great.
Yeah, more power to them. They're great, those guys.
They're a CAC. They're a CAC. K-A-K, a CAC.
And the QED conferences that they organise, in my personal opinion, they are the best skeptical conferences anywhere in the world, and they're just brilliant. They not only get a really good mix of speakers on, they also have this general philosophy that the speakers mix with the people who've gone to the conferences. And that's just great, I mean, it really is. There are great conferences to go to, so get your tickets now.
And of course, what is your website so we can visit and find out more about you and your book?
Before I say that, I should just kind of give a quick plug. In 2015, the European Skeptics Congress is going to be in London, so all your listeners should come to that. The book is Anomalistic Psychology, Exploring Paranormal Belief and Experience by Christopher C. French and Anna Stone. It's on Amazon. Do come and do buy it. It's nearly Christmas. Come on, folks.
Have you got a website where we can taste it?
If you go to it's Palgrave Macmillan that publish it, so go to their website. And we've also got, if you go to as you mentioned, the Anomalistic Psychology Research Unit, we have our own website. That's www.goldsmiths.ac.uk/APRU, and we have a podcast series that we're in the process of launching on anomalistic psychology, and you can get that if you go to the Goldsmiths website and look at the podcasts that are available at Goldsmiths.
Well, enjoy the rest of your time here in Australia.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
Look, right next to the Australian official Skeptics table, there's the Cranky Bot table. Who have we got here?
I have Ruth and...
I'm Alastair.
Alastair, I believe you've done some statistical analysis to produce some of the jewellery that's on this table. Describe to us what kind of graph that is and how you've turned it into... Is it earrings? What is that?
So we've got necklaces, earrings and fridge magnets. Now what they are is a polar representation of the maximum and minimum temperatures over the past 100 years or so for various capital cities around Australia.
So they come out looking like a bit of a fractured circle, like a wacky donut.
Yeah, although Darwin's quite smooth. It looks more like a pineapple ring, I think.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, that is very, very interesting. And you can put them over one another and you can see how cold it is to live in Melbourne, for example.
That's right. So they're all done to the same scale. So you can compare, say, Hobart to Canberra, and you will find actually that Canberra is often colder than Hobart is.
Get out!
Yeah.
Look, I mean, you've also, like, while I'm here, what's going on with the temperature range? It was 5 to 27 the other day. How the hell do you dress for that?
Layers.
Yeah. I mean, there must be a lot of people stripping around about lunchtime.
Yeah, well, fortunately, working indoors, we have air conditioning, so true. It's not too bad.
But yeah, because outside in Canberra, around about 3 o'clock, someone turns the heat off. You can hear this big clunk as someone turns a big switch off and the heat turns off in Canberra. 3 o'clock every day.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Now, what other jewellery have you got over there? You've got some molecular representations that are earrings. Have you got one for MDMA at all?
MDMA, no, not yet. We've got a few addictive substances here. We've got caffeine, we've got alcohol, and we've got serotonin. So, for those into the...
Look, serotonin is the drug that causes all other drugs to be so popular.
Exactly right.
And what's moving really big here at the Cranky Bot table?
Actually, the visualization things. I think we've found our fellow geeks, right? Data geeks who appreciate climate data.
And everyone's looking for their city.
Yes, and also the Christmas tree ornaments, which are, for those that can't see it, it's actually a mixture of brains, topically correct hearts, and beakers and flasks, and they've been going really well today.
And don't forget Darwin's Tree of Life.
Oh, Darwin's Tree of Life, yes. This is so this Darwin Tree of Life is literally straight from Darwin's Notebook B when he sketches out, I think, and he sketches out the evolutionary tree.
It looks a little bit like a stick figure pushing a shopping trolley.
I think Darwin would like. That would be nice to tell him that.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind that. And tell me, have any people floated any conspiracy theories with you, or has something new come up because it's all about conspiracies this weekend at all?
Oh, not yet, but we should start laying down a few conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Oh, and what I am asking everyone, is there any conspiracy theory that appears lacking in evidence that you really wish was true?
I have to come back to you on that one. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Rightio, okay. Yeah, I'll talk to you later about that. But good luck with the table here, and I hope you sell a bit of jewellery.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, and of course, the lunchtime rolls on and the conspiracies just keep rolling out. We're here with
Joe Alabaster.
And of course, leading up to the conference, the big talk was about whether you'd be wearing heels or not today, but obviously it's a flat stay because you've got to do a lot of running.
It is indeed, yes.
And what's been your favourite bit of the conference so far?
Good question. I think actually Shelley and Corin so far. So it was entertaining, amusing, but also somewhat depressing, and they managed to get the balance quite nice, I thought.
Is there a conspiracy theory they were covering in their A to Z of conspiracy theories that they missed out on you would have liked to have seen?
Not really. I'm very fond of chemtrails. I've recently heard about Planet X, which has apparently been around for quite a while, and I wouldn't mind hearing more about Planet X.
Wow, you're a bit late to the party on that one. Now, is that the one that's supposed to come into the solar system now and again, or one that was once here and gone? What exactly is it?
Evidently, it's meant to come back. We had somebody on the Australian Skeptics website on the Facebook page not long ago who was utterly convinced that it was coming back, and it was the work of the devil. He was quoting prophecies.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah, the prophecies is never a really good place to start with your evidence.
No, not generally when you're speaking to people who identify as scientific skeptics. No.
Is there one conspiracy theory that would appear lacking in evidence that you wish was true?
I wouldn't mind if Big Pharma actually did pay out people who advocate vaccination, because I'm fairly broke.
You'd be getting in the queue with your hand out.
Absolutely. I should already be there.
Yeah. And so Dr. Rachie would be taking a lot less public transport as well if that was the case.
Exactly. I heard she got the bus here.
The internet may be the information superhighway, but there is no promise that the information is factually correct. So when people use the internet to educate themselves, they are at risk of being misinformed and reaching false conclusions. But don't worry, there is a solution. Rebutter is a browser plugin which tells users when the web page they are currently viewing has been disputed elsewhere on the internet. With Rebutter installed, anytime you read a page making a claim of truth, you have immediate access to another page which explains why that claim is incorrect. So you not only get an opposing perspective and more information on the subject, but you get a direct demonstration of how to critically analyse the page you just read. Imagine a world where every internet user was able to critically reflect on the information that the internet presents to them, because that is the internet that Rebutter and its community of volunteers are building. Go to rebutter.com, that's rbutr.com, install the plugin and see what you can do to help us bring about this revolution.
Now it's time for Dr. Rachie Reports with Dr. Rachael Dunlop.
Get out. Right over us? It is too. How exciting is that, Dr. Rachie?
That's the A380 you can hear overhead.
Just when we started recording, the A380 comes over.
Well, a Qantas A380, I should be specific, I suppose.
Well, let's stroll back. We actually having just a nice catch-up, Dr. Rachie and I. So we're at Chowder Bay, where I was a few weeks ago to interview Dr. Emma Johnston.
I know, which is funny, isn't it? Because as we pulled in, you said, I've been here before, recently, I think. Yeah, and I haven't ever been here, Richard.
It's a nice little cove, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
But I thought I'd have a quick catch-up with you to look back in the year of Dr. Rachie Reports. What a year it's been. What a year.
Yeah. I guess the highlight for me is the AVN. I mean, this has been going on for a while now.
For a while, that's true.
I was looking back through my blog the other day, and I think back as early as 2009, Meryl declared she was closing down. She was having a fire sale, because she was threatened with questions about evidence. But, as you probably know, and listeners would remember from last week's episode, I think, they now have to change their name, and they've subsequently had a bit of a fire sale. They're selling off computers and office equipment, so it appears that the end is nigh for them.
It's a long, protracted, drawn-out death, isn't it?
It is, and it could still continue for a bit longer because there is the opportunity for them to appeal that decision.
Yep.
It seems unlikely that that appeal will be successful because I think they can only appeal on the basis of an error in law, and assuming the ADT didn't make an error, then they won't have a leg to stand on. But I expect that they will appeal to drag it out.
I wouldn't be surprised. I'll give them that. They've got fight.
Yeah, they have.
And it's sort of the case of, well, sometimes you have to know when to give up, and I guess they just simply don't know.
Yeah. And also, I guess Homeopathy Plus have been in court this year.
Yes.
That's ongoing, actually.
It is ongoing. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. I think in the new year we'll find out what's happening. But I follow the Homeopathy Plus newsletters.
Yes.
And they're quite interesting because Fran Sheffield, who puts those out, who won the Bent Spoon Award last year, in her newsletters raves on and on and on about how wonderful homeopathy is at preventing diseases, and it's the thing we all should turn to, and it's cost effective, and it's works better because vaccines don't work. It's just astonishing what she believes.
Well, she is. You often discuss, Richard, in your talks about whether people are fraudulent or deluded. She's definitely in the deluded camp.
She definitely believes what she says.
Believes
yep,
it, yeah,
without doubt.
Yeah.
We're just going through the gate.
But the problem
here.
is, even if you believe something fervently or 100%, if it's wrong and it's potentially harming people, then you can't legally do it.
Well, that's why there's action being taken against her.
Yeah.
And Homeopathy Plus in general.
And, encouragingly, this action was taken by the Ipcc, who have teeth with respect to closing people down and fining them significantly. So it looks like there might actually be something substantial come out of this.
It's interesting. I wonder what the result will be, because I'm sure she's firmly convinced that they'll find in her favour, because she's probably thought that she presented compelling evidence.
Well, she does think that, and she has said as much in your newsletters and in other places as well. And, sometimes you feel a bit sorry for these people because you think, well, they really do believe this, and when things like that are challenged, they just dig their heels in further, and then they end up crashing and burning really badly. But, if I really believe that I can speed in a 60-kilometre zone and I do it and I can't...
I was just... we might... the wind's picked up here. We're on the dock now. We're on a lovely little Captain Cook cruiser's boat. We'll move... Oh no, the gate's still up. We can't move down to the boat. We'll just stand in the shade over here. This is exactly where I interviewed Dr. Emma Johnston a few episodes ago. I was having a look back in the old archives the other day, Dr. Rachie, and I saw one of the very first things you did, sort of under the moniker of Dr. Rachie, was ear candles. Can you remember that?
Yes, I can remember that.
How about that?
Yeah.
And that was on... That's still on your blog, I think.
Yeah, it is on my blog, yeah. It was actually a really popular segment, that one. I had people write to me and tell me that they laughed on public transport and that was my fault.
No, I'm not.
Because, there is a part of that where I start laughing out loud. Cause
yeah.
I remember, I guess I've become a bit jaded over the years, Richard, but when I first started looking at this stuff, when I saw ear candles, I was just gobsmacked that something could be that stupid.
It's one of the things that when you see it for the first time, you think, no.
Yeah, that's right.
Where's their candid camera? This is just ridiculous.
And then after you've seen it 1,000 times and 1,000 times worse, you just start to go and facepalm rather than getting angry or upset. And you can't continue to expend energy on stuff like that, or it's you hard. End up in a heap because
it is hard.
There's so much stupid in the world.
There is, but you're doing your best. I must congratulate you because your article on the conversation is a record, I believe.
Yes, and apologies in advance to Patrick Stokes, who is a good mate of mine, and he had the most read article on the conversation for a long time. And then there was some bun fight in America and Canada over vaccination, and I shot past him, and I'm still gaining. So it's had more than 800,000 reads now, which means my university is now the #1 university for rankings in the country. And, they could send me some champagne if they're interested.
I think they should. I think listeners should send you some champagne. Now, that's the myths about vaccination posting, isn't it?
Yeah. And in fact, it's funny because I remember when I wrote that because I was on holidays in the UK on my way to QED.
Let's walk around the corner. Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that right?
In a hotel room.
I just hit my head on the side of the building, folks. I'm all right. As Grandy says, don't get out of your seats. Ow, that hurt. All right. We better move back. Oh, hello. They've opened up the boat for us. We can move. Oh, hello.
Recording?
I'm recording, yes. We're doing a podcast.
Yep.
Recording a podcast. Thank you. We'll just move back inside. We're on the deck now. And into the cabin we are. Did you go for a swim?
Yeah, I did.
Good one. So, yes, that's just getting back to that before I whack my head. That's good news that's your piece about the vaccination on the conversation.
I was saying that I wrote it on the way to QED.
You wrote it on the way to QED, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And hello to all our friends in Manchester and Liverpool.
Yeah. So I remember writing that before breakfast in a B&B in Cambridge on the way to QED. Yes. So anyway, it's great that so many people have read it and passed it on, and thanks to everyone who has. And please keep doing so.
How can people find that easily? That blog? What do you call it? A report, an article?
Oh, it's an article. So I guess if you just Google me and the conversation, you'll find it pretty easily. Or 6 myths about vaccination.
6 myths about vaccination, that's right. Well, another big year coming up, Dr. Rachie, no doubt. We're going to have some setbacks, but I think we're going to have quite a few victories. And why not?
Well, yeah, we've been working pretty hard, so I hope we get some outcomes, concrete outcomes from the AVN and also from Homeopathy Plus, and then I'm sure there'll be something else for us to deal with, Richard, because this job never ends, does it?
This job never ends, and maybe one day we'll convince pharmacies in this country to not carry ear candles.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be great. I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not holding my breath. Oh, well, congratulations again, Dr. Rachie, and here's to 2014.
Yes, and to you too.
Welcome to A Week in Science from RiAus, bringing you the science news you need to know. As the year draws to a close, let's take a look back at what's been a big year in science. Here are your top stories for 2013. At number 5, virologists in March reported that they had cured an infant of HIV. The infected baby was just 30 hours old when it started an 18-month treatment program using standard HIV drug therapy. 10 months after treatment finished, the baby was still in the clear, potentially changing how HIV is treated in children. Coming in at number 4 is the first synthetic meat hamburger. The 100% beef burger was made in the lab by growing muscle cells harvested from a living cow. It apparently tasted just like the real thing. You're listening to A Week in Science from RiAus, the top 5 science stories of 2013. Number 3 on our list goes to the first human embryonic stem cell created using therapeutic cloning. They took the nucleus from a human skin cell and then transferred it into an unfertilised egg that had had its genetic material removed. These embryonic stem cells could be used in personalised therapies for a range of diseases, but the use of human donor eggs has raised a number of ethical concerns. At number 2 is the IPCC's 5th climate change report, painting a pretty grim picture. We can now be 95% certain that humans are causing global warming, with CO2 concentrations rising 40% since pre-industrial times. By the end of this century, the report predicts a 2-degree rise in the average global temperature, a minimum 26 centimetre rise in sea levels, and more ocean warming and ocean acidification, carrying a wide range of environmental consequences. This is it, our top science story of 2013. A NASA space probe this year ventured further into space than ever before. Voyager 1 was launched in 1977 and this year moved outside our solar system into interstellar space. In April, the probe recorded sounds of interstellar space as it meandered through the cosmos some 19 billion kilometres away. Very cool. That's been the top science stories of 2013, compiled in conjunction with the Australian Science Media Centre and CSIRO. Check out our website, riaus.org.au, for the full top 10. Follow us on Twitter using the hashtag WeekInSci and like us on Facebook. I'm Tania Meyer and we'll catch you next week.
Hi, this is Carrie Poppy.
I'm Ross Blotcher.
Oh, hey, Ross.
Hey, we're from a podcast called
Oh No, Ross and Carrie.
We find out what happens when you show up and ask questions.
We've hung out with the Kabbalists,
The Mormons,
we've gone and gotten ear candles,
gone to the Sikhs.
we show up so you don't have to.
So find out where we're going next.
We'll even have special episodes where we have famous guests like Brian Dalton from Mr. Deity.
You heard that awesome theme music? He wrote that.
You should come visit us at onopodcast.com or
facebook.com/onrac.
What the hell's OnRac, Ross?
ONRAC.
Oh no, Ross and Carrie.
That's our show.
That's so smart. Come join us.
Well, Richard, here we are. It's come to that time of year where we review the predictions of the psychics for 2013.
Why don't we do that, Stefan? Now, we both have a copy of the 2013 Australian Psychics Directory, your complete psychic guide, it says. And we turn to page 3.
Turn to page 3. Yes,
Turn
here
to
we are.
page 3.
I feel guided already, but more by you telling me to turn to page 3.
That's right.
Okay.
Let's have a go.
Let's go.
What did they foresee?
What did they predict? Well, there's a big crystal ball on the page, and so it looks very authentic. So
Yep.
let's look at entertainment. They predicted that the Australian movie The Sapphires will win a Golden Globe Award and be nominated for an Oscar. Was that true?
Afraid not on both counts.
Oh, okay.
dear. So, not a good start. 0 out of 2.
Not a good start. But the sudden death of a well-known Australian actor in Hollywood from a massive heart attack will send shockwaves through the Aussie film community in Hollywood and Australia alike.
Nope. 0 out of 3.
Okay.
Fast game's a good game.
That's very good. Okay, well, so thank you, Brett Vollis, for those wonderful predictions. Finance. India has a great interest in the use of silver as a currency. Due to the high price of gold, silver is now accepted as part of a bride's dowry. I suppose I'd take anything.
Well, silver is always been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And there's
copper.
and that prediction goes on to talk about the value.
Yes,
of silver.
I suggest keeping all the family silver as it is will be. Typo there. As it is will be worth more than you think in the future.
Too vague, and there's no evidence to suggest that prediction's anywhere near the mark. So, nope, 0 out of 5.
No, that's
so
not good. Whilst there may be difficulties in certain parts of the world, economic conditions look set to improve dramatically for the first time in 5 years in 2013. Thank you, Simon Turnbull.
That's too vague. It's
too vague.
It's just too vague. 0 out of 6.
No, we'll give him like 1 million out of 6 because it was just so awesome. Yes, fantastic! What a fantastically accurate prediction. The Australian dollar will peak at 1.09 compared to the US dollar.
No, it peaked at 105. So that's 0 out of 7 so far.
And it's down to about 80 cents now.
It's going down quick, yeah.
Okay, from about August 2000... It's good how these psychics are... from about... If they're psychic, wouldn't they be very accurate? From August the 14th or something?
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. Thank you, Richard. From about August 2013, give or take 100 years, we're going to see some major upheaval within Australia's large corporations, including government organisations. A large company will be split in two, maybe Telstra, and other companies will feel the wrath of public opinion stacked against them, forcing them to change. The change will be interesting and catastrophic for one or two large companies, which will be forced to close down, putting thousands thousands out of work.
Wrong on the specifics. Also too vague, as large companies close down every year and merge every year. And one would be tempted to think, oh, they're talking about Holden.
Yeah.
But that's closing down in a number of years. And again, it's simply too vague. It's just not a usable prediction. There's nothing you could get from that and look ahead and say, right, it means this, this, and this.
But he would. He would say, look,
see,
I nailed it.
Yeah.
I nailed Holden, and look, Qantas is really in upheaval.
I'm afraid a prediction that only works in hindsight is not much of a prediction. I'm giving that a 0. So that's 0 out of 10 predictions.
Okay, I see a number of mergers or takeovers for big icon companies in the banking financial sector throughout 2013. Debbie Malone.
Too vague and expected. That happens every year.
It happens every day.
0 out of 11 predictions.
Yeah, we need it. She should have given us some names or something. Names and dates.
That would have helped.
2013 will see new growth in the building industry. That never happens. With many new jobs created. This will keep... This will keep growing into 2015. By then, our economy will be at a very good level.
Again, it's just too vague and not very accurate. So that's 0 out of 12.
It's extremely vague. I mean, if there was no buildings being built, there'd be something wrong.
There would be something wrong. Wouldn't it?
I see buildings being built on the planet Earth. Oh my goodness me! Global. A prominent figure will fall in Japan.
And that's prediction number 9 in the list.
9, yep.
Too vague and no reports that could fit that. And what does it mean? Somebody dies? Or somebody resigns? Or trips? Or
tripped.
Too vague. Of no use, 0 out of 13.
Yeah. Or a billboard of them fell over.
Maybe that happened.
Could happen. Maybe that was completely accurate. Number 10, there will be increased solar flare activity with March 14, 17, 23rd and April 24th of particular note. Communication systems will be affected, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. A spike in earthquake activity will also occur on and around these dates.
There was an increase in solar flare activity, but only our show.
Oh, the solar flare. What a great show that was.
A fantastic adventure.
Huge increase of activity.
Apart from that, though, the Sun is in a natural 11-year cycle with increased activity anyway, and communication systems are affected every year by solar activity.
Yeah.
This is
they're affected every second, aren't they?
And the dates mentioned, the specific dates mentioned, nothing important happened, and there was no increase. A spike in earthquake activity around then too.
Wow.
So all those predictions, that's another 3. So that's 0 out of 16.
Wow. Okay, number 11, Chappelle Corby will be released from prison between September and November 2013.
I must have missed that one. Nope, 0 out of 17.
She's still in jail.
She's still in jail. Yep.
Thank you, Cassandra Shannon. Okay, Alex Fulford says, I feel there will be a fire rip through a hotel in Italy with many lives lost.
Not that I could find.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Still a few days to go.
But 0 out of 18. Then.
Okay, so far so bad. Okay,
this is fun. Read this and tell me if you think it's a prediction.
Okay, 13.
Yeah.
I see that the Ring of Fire is more than ready to activate. I feel there is a chance of tsunami or monsoonal weather in Bali or Thailand over our summer months. There could be waves washing on the shore as well.
There could be.
Japan is still not in the clear, with constant small earthquakes along their coastal areas. Ooh. I feel concerned that the Fukushima nuclear plant has not been properly secured. If there is a big earthquake or tsunami in the region, marine life and habitats in the Pacific Ocean will be threatened.
What is this? Is this a prediction?
No.
I couldn't understand what this was.
Well,
I mean, it sounds like a lot of stuff that can be interpreted.
Yeah,
in a million
well, I guess
different
the nuclear power plant has not been properly secured.
Well, yeah, that was known anyway.
But then she goes, if there is a thing, then something will be affected.
Well,
that's not a prediction.
That's not a prediction. That's
if a meteor hits the Earth,
then there'll be damage. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm afraid it's all too vague, so I'm giving that all a big fat 0.
Okay.
0 out of 19.
14. As China enters the vaccination market, care should be taken as a vaccination will be found to cause nerve hearing and brain damage in infants and will cause many deaths when used in Africa and Asia. This is likely to start from June, but will be ongoing for several years. More pharmacy products from China are likely to be found contaminated or with the incorrect dose of chemicals.
Well, no on the first part. There's no evidence to suggest anything like that has happened at all. And on the second part, that's sort of, sadly, it's sort of expected.
It is too.
That there would be the quality control in China is not what we would, we would hope for. These things happen. So one didn't happen. Two is sadly expected. I would give that another 0. Both of them. Sorry, not buying it. Yep, 0 out of 20.
Although that Viagra I bought on the internet the other day was really, really strong. I only bought the weak one. It was really strong. So I give that a hit. All right. Health. I see a purple flower from a cactus being used to prevent... Sorry, I've got to start this again. Health. Kim Dodgson. I see a purple flower from a cactus being used to prevent brain bleeding. It will be beneficial to brain surgery.
No, not that I could possibly find. No reference
scouring the medical journals all year.
Oh dear.
That one didn't show
Sadly,
up.
no. 0 out of 21.
Although he's probably has... Isn't there some cactus that makes you see purple flowers?
Probably is. That's right.
That's what he's been doing. Okay, 16. I have major concerns about our addictions to iPhones and smartphones. I feel that there will be a huge rise in throat, ear, tongue and brain cancers due to the... and thumb cancers, I suppose, as well.
Thumb cancers, yeah.
Yeah, due to the use of mobile phones. I highly recommend that people use their earpiece or use their phone on speakerphone to stop constant contact of the phone on our neck, ear and head areas.
Well, the first part, no, it didn't happen. The second part is sort of like just general advice.
Yeah, that's not
just
a prediction.
Nothing there. That's
not a hot prediction.
No, I'm afraid not. So 0 out for that one.
Thanks, Debbie Malone. Alex Fulford says, I feel that there is a famous man, now a very old gentleman, that will pass. Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, goodness me.
He obviously
an old man dying.
He obviously meant Peter O'Toole, right?
Yeah. No? It could be Gough Whitlam.
It could be Gough Whitlam, but it was Peter O'Toole.
But it was Peter O'Toole.
I'm afraid it's a big
that's a hit. Come on. An old man died.
I'm not giving that
Come
one.
on. He said an old man would die.
And there's a picture of Gough Whitlam on the page.
Who looks a little bit like Peter O'Toole in
like
that
Peter
particular
O'Toole.
shot.
0 out of 23 so far.
Okay. I feel that 2013 will bring new technology. Jeez. That's a shock. Wow. And closer to a cure for cancer. I also feel that a conspiracy regarding a hidden cure will become more apparent when an official lets it slip out. This will have a huge ramifications and calls for the authorities to answer for their misdeeds. So that's some sort of conspiracy theory.
It sounds pretty weird to me, but
claptrap going on
all
there. Although there was some breakthrough in leukemia. Something this year?
Does it say that there?
It will bring a new technology closer to a cure for cancer.
Well, that happens every year.
It happens every minute. They get closer to a cure for cancer.
Every year, and there's always a breakthrough that brings us... Yeah, that's just expected. 0 out of 25.
Okay. A non-reversing mirror will be released in 2013. This is in the invention category.
Not that I could find.
You sure?
Yeah. A non-reversing...
Yeah, so when you look, you see yourself...
You can do that on iPhones anyway for last few years. And
non-reversing.
Sorry. 0 out of 26 so far.
Maybe if you look in a normal mirror and cross your eyes, does that work?
That might do it.
Okay. A new technology will revolutionise the web yet again and will have us glued to the screen of whatever media we choose to view it on. The next issue will be the broadband speeds needed to keep up with the traffic of people constantly streaming on the web.
Well, the first part, nothing apparent, and the second part, duh.
Well, there is a new blogging platform called Ghost, which is starting to take off. However, it's really low bandwidth.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
So actually, it have nothing to do with broadband
I
speeds.
think the first part of that was true. We'd all know about it. Sorry, no.
Yeah, it didn't revolutionise anything, that's for sure. Yeah, revolutionise the web. No. Politics. Labour will win the 2013 election with a clear lead. Did that happen?
I don't think so.
Not in this universe.
No.
They will not need the support from the Greens to remain in power. Oh, it'd be such a big lead, wouldn't it? Did that happen?
What do you think?
Not in this universe.
No.
A vision for the future of Australia and ability to make tough decisions will be the swaying power at the polls.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. So the first part simply didn't happen. The second part is like what would happen in every election. You know, the party that sells itself.
Yeah,
that are usually
or possibly it swayed them in the other direction because they didn't have a vision for the future and they didn't have the ability to make tough decisions. That's why they lost.
Maybe that's a negative point. No, it's still that's 0 out of 29 so far.
Goodness me. Yep. Australia will mourn the passing of a former Prime Minister who dies from heart-related problems.
What, a former Prime Minister of this country? I think that's what they meant, but it didn't happen.
Yeah,
0 out of 30.
They missed Nelson Mandela. Kevin Rudd is likely to return to political life again. Tony Abbott will never be Prime Minister.
Well,
sorry, I should repeat. I should say that again. Kevin Rudd is likely to return to political life again. Prime Minister Tony Abbott will never be Prime Minister.
Well, the problem is the first part is Kevin Rudd didn't leave political life during when this was written. He was still in Parliament.
Yeah, that's right.
He did come back as Prime Minister, but it doesn't say that there. It just says political life. He never left it. And the second part is, obviously didn't happen at all. Our Prime Minister is Tony Abbott. 0 out of 31.
Malcolm Turnbull will be the new opposition leader. His straightforward manner and positive attitude will help to change the public's outlook on the National Party for the better.
Nope.
No.
0 out of 32.
I feel that we will have a public announcement just before Christmas. It feels like a change in leadership for Labor. I see a man with medium brown hair, of a serious nature and a bit of a worrier, but someone who plays it straight down the line, no ifs or buts.
Too vague and didn't happen. We had a new opposition leader months ago.
Yeah.
And it's just before Christmas now, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right, just before Christmas.
Just before Christmas. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Now,
wrong.
There'll be some people out there prepared to give these people lots of wiggle worm and leeway. That's not the prediction.
No,
that's
right.
what we call moving the goalposts. If something doesn't work, you say, well, I really,
give or take 10 years.
That's right.
Royals, finally, baby news for Will and Kate.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the first one they've actually got right.
It's a 1 out of how many?
And I'm being generous here because that was absolutely anticipated and expected. It's no shock or surprise, and it's a pretty lame prediction. But you know what?
Yeah, there you go. Give it to them.
I'm feeling sorry for them. So it's 1 out of 34 so far.
An elderly royal passes mid-year, but happiness returns with the announcement of a baby due later in the year. This will be a baby boy.
Well, no on the first part, but the second part again.
It was a boy.
It was a boy. So let's give them another one. That's 2 out of 36.
That's amazing. Sport. I see Collingwood AFL linked to handouts and illegal transactions.
Linked? What does that mean? That's what we call a weasel word.
Yeah.
It means, were they involved directly or somebody they know involved?
Knew somebody who knew somebody else who knew somebody?
I couldn't find any startling references to this, so no. I have to give that.
Feel the game of cricket will be brought into disrepute once more. 2 world-class players will be connected to underhanded dealings with match fixing and money. One of these players, who is from overseas, will be disgraced in their country and possibly given jail time. The other player is closer to home and will inevitably be dismissed and banned for life. I also feel an important figure in the sport will also be shamed.
Nope.
No,
sorry. No to all 3 predictions.
Wasn't that happening like 2 years ago or something?
It happens every now and then. There's nothing dramatic happening in this year. So that's a big fat no on all those 3 predictions, as it were. That's now 2 correct out of 40.
Okay, and the Socceroos will do very well in 2013 with positive energy enveloping the team.
Well, no, they didn't do particularly well this year. They had their ups and downs, but nothing outstanding. And the second part's just too vague.
Because you could say, they did well even though they lost every single game.
Yeah, they could have positive energy and a fresh outlook even if
they completely failed.
Yeah.
Science. Ooh, this will be the fun part. I see the discovery of bones of a very large bird that was previously unknown.
Nothing that I could find in the records. There are birds and things like this discovered quite frequently, but there's nothing outstanding like a very large bird.
No, actually, no. You might be on this one. My Uncle Bert actually found the bones of Matilda, the giant chicken, in his backyard.
What? Was that from a Christmas a couple of years ago or something?
No, she died of natural causes.
Oh, all right. No, I don't think it counts.
No, not scientific. Fracking is a major concern on the eastern seaboard.
Yeah, but that's
not a prediction. That's a fact.
It's a concern.
We need to listen to the issues that have occurred overseas due to this type of gas extraction. That's not a prediction.
Yeah.
Here's a prediction. I foresee that fracking will cause earthquakes, contamination to the water table, and landslips in the areas that will be mined.
There's no evidence to support that. There are people who protest against fracking and all sorts of things, but as yet there is no compelling evidence to suggest that fracking causes earthquakes and all these other things.
Okay, thanks, Debbie Malone. Yep. UFOs will be seen more frequently, especially over New York. There will be some formal government acknowledgement of their existence. More UFOs seen in Australia by commercial pilots, especially in the Alice Springs Uluru region. Qantas pilots and passengers will have a close encounter of some kind in Australia.
Wow. Yeah, and we could wish it was true, but no on all 4 predictions. That's 2 out of 48.
Thank you, Elizabeth Jensen. Weather. Australia is in for the worst wild weather we have ever had, especially on the east coast.
No. No, I mean, we had some hot days and we had some storms like every year and bits and
not
some
the
floods,
worst wild weather ever.
No, not true.
Tremors or earthquake activity to hit on western side of America, doing a lot of damage around major cities as well as open areas.
Nothing outstanding. No, and tremors and earthquake activity happen every year in Western America. Yeah.
Yep. No. Europe in for a mini ice age.
Oh, if it was, I'd go there on a hot day like this. But no. 2 right out of 51 so far.
Our Earth is still moving. Sorry, I'll finish the sentence. Our Earth is still moving through a cleansing period. Really?
Yeah.
Is there like an asteroid belt of like washing detergent?
There must be. Those giant wipers we see in the sky each night. It all makes sense. Yeah.
So I believe we will continue to experience natural catastrophic events globally, especially water-related disasters such as flooding and tsunamis.
Well, it just
happens all the time.
It's too vague. The first part's just New Age babble, and the second part is it happens.
Happens all the time.
No.
Bushfires will be a major concern in southeast Queensland in early 2013. Did that happen?
Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing especially.
No.
And the second part didn't happen, which says
there will be very large front with some fires spreading into northern New South Wales. A lot of areas will be burnt out.
No. Didn't happen.
No.
That happened later on in the year in near Sydney, of course.
That's right.
Yeah, but no, that's right.
And if anyone knows northern New South Wales, there probably would have been quite a few fires.
There could have been fires around
in Nimbin, but most of them were just people lighting joints.
That's right.
Okay.
And the next one.
More earthquakes for China in early 2013 in areas already affected in recent years.
Well, I looked into that one, and yes, there were some earthquakes in areas affected in recent years, so I sort of have to give that one a hit. But earthquakes tend to happen
in the same sort of
spots. But all right, I'm feeling generous. Yep.
There you go, give them that one.
Yep.
I see a quake in June or July in the Northern Territory, Central Australia of a moderate scale.
Nope.
But there will not be much damage due to location and the fact that it didn't happen.
It hadn't happened.
August 2013 sees another minor earthquake in Adelaide or nearby Mount Lofty Ranges.
Not that I could see on the charts, no.
I see a minor quake for Melbourne in April or May.
Not that I could see on the charts, no.
And Tokyo in February.
No.
Tokyo will experience another quake in July.
No.
With some loss of life.
No. Well, look, there are quakes, there are tremors and quakes around Tokyo and Japan frequently. But the ones that they're discussing, there wasn't anything apparent. So far we have 3 out of 59, and that's the last one.
Oh, that was actually shockingly bad.
But you know what?
What?
What did they miss?
Oh.
What did we expect, or we should have seen in there was...
Come on, Richard, hit us with
a meteor. In February, a meteor explodes over Russia. That was huge news.
I should have seen that coming.
They should have. And the incredible footage, and people are injured, and that was quite startling. February again. The Pope resigns.
That happens every day. That's too vague.
It didn't die. He wasn't assassinated.
No,
he just said,
resigned.
I think I'll retire now.
Yeah.
No one predicted that.
No,
That's huge. That's huge. April, there's the Boston Marathon bombings.
Yeah.
Absolutely off their psychic radar. Absolutely off the circuit radar. Here we go. In April again, a 8-story commercial building collapses in Bangladesh, leaving over 1,000 people dead. That's huge.
That's a biggie. You'd see that coming.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? For those people's sakes. The president of Egypt, Mohammed
Morsi, is deposed in a military coup.
Yeah, that's pretty big news. That was in July. September. The attack on the shopping centre in Africa.
In Nairobi.
Yeah, that was huge news.
62 civilians dead, wounding over 170 people. There's just no mention of it here in the Australian Psychics Directory.
That was quite dramatic, I thought. November, that huge typhoon that ripped through the Philippines.
Yeah.
Devastating the Philippines.
Yeah, over 6,000 dead.
Yeah.
Not a peep.
Just absolutely huge news.
Not a mention.
China's
landing on the moon.
That would have been nice to know. Good luck to them.
Predict that one.
Good on them.
I mean, that one you could have even known because you might have had friends who were working on the program for the last 5 years.
And amongst the people that died this year, Margaret Thatcher, David Frost, very famous man.
Bless their souls.
Peter O'Toole, the actor, of course. Many other people. And, of course, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
How about that?
Not mentioned.
Not Gough Whitlam, but he didn't die.
Nelson Mandela in his 90s.
Yeah.
Not a single psychic predicted that. But they said some old guy might die.
I know that's a long shot, but Stefan, we might laugh at these psychics. We might.
But we're not going to. Because they charge $6.95 for each magazine.
Actually, that one was free. It was given to me at a psychic fair. But this one
that's good. That's about what it's worth.
But this copy I had to pay for. But I notice you've been looking into your mystical realms and coming up with some predictions yourself.
I've got a couple of predictions, but before we go any further, I'd like to hear from all the audience your own predictions, because it's that time of year. Put about 10 predictions together and log them, put them on Facebook, and then we will check in and see if... Well, it's basically going to be a 2014 psychic versus skeptic prediction war.
Yeah, we don't have the directory for next year yet. It's coming out in a few weeks, and then we'll see what their predictions for
2014.
For 2014.
Yeah, and then we'll do a comparison.
Those ones this year we just read out, it boils down to roughly 5% right. So 95% fail.
Because really, I would suggest that the skeptics would probably do a much better job, because actually you can extrapolate things quite well if you kind of have a fairly good understanding of what goes on in the world. These people are just hopeless at it.
It seems so, doesn't it?
Speaking of being hopeless at predictions...
All right, what have we got?
Okay, I'm predicting that someone who played piano or organ on a Rolling Stones album will die in 2014.
So how many people you reckon have played piano or organ on Rolling over 50 years?
I don't know, but that's my psychic prediction.
Wow.
Kanye West is going to be murdered in an underworld hit.
Ooh, that's a bold prediction.
Yeah, but in a very, very tragic, another prediction, Justin Bieber won't.
I see.
Another prediction is that the Fast and Furious Paul Walker, who died tragically in a car accident recently, will not be reconstituted back to life from his charred carcass using a revolutionary technology so he can finish the Fast and Furious
movie. So you're
predicting
that won't happen?
It won't happen. Yeah, I'm predicting that.
Another long shot?
I'm pretty confident about that one. Now, in finance, Australia's big four banks will all register record quarterly profits despite an ailing economy, and their board will be sacked for not doing a better job. That's my prediction. And I've got another one in finance. Zimbabwe and the Democratic Republic of Congo will swap places on the IMF ranking list of GDP per capita. So Congo will move up one to number 186 on the list, and Zimbabwe will move down one to last place after a 6-year-old boy accidentally drops 1,000 trillion Zimbabwe dollar coin down the drain.
It might happen.
I'm predicting that it will.
Yeah.
And also, A massive volcano will erupt somewhere in the solar system, causing immense damage to the surrounding terrain.
That could happen.
I'm predicting that it will.
It just might.
I'm predicting that it will.
Well, there we go, folks. That was the review of predictions for this year just ending. Not too good. And for the year ahead. Well, from us anyway.
From us. And we look forward in 12 months' time to reviewing again.
Our own predictions?
Oh, yes. I'm confident.
I'm confident.
Quietly confident.
I predict we'll be there.
I predict we'll score a lot better than the psychics. Okay, that's it. We'll check in 12 months' time.
Okay, thanks, Stefan.
Hello, everyone. This is Susan Gerbic. The following is for Skeptic Zone listeners who are ready for more, people who are ready to draw a line in the sand and say no more. You might have heard mention of the Brzezinski Clinic on your social networks. USA Today came out with a scathing expose of the clinic and the FDA. The HoustonCancerQuack.com website is asking everyone in America to write to their Congress representatives asking to look into why this has been allowed to continue for so long. I've done so, and I encourage you all to do the same as well. But what more can we do? Well, you can follow Skeptic Action on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. We use Rebutter, Web of Trust, and Fishbarrel to review and rate URLs, hoping to get more information to people who innocently are looking at Brzezinski for help. Within 24 hours of the Brzezinski Clinic launching a new website, Skeptic Action had placed a big red Web of Trust warning on the page and rebutted it to the moon. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, then run over to Skeptic Action on Twitter, Facebook, or Google+ for instructions. What more can we do? Well, you can educate your friends and families. Already we are seeing several petitions on change.org from families trying to get Congress to allow compassionate exemptions so that they can continue or start treatment at the clinic. Do not approach these desperate families, but kindly educate people who are asking you to sign these petitions if they're not part of the family. And I do mean kindly. We have already talked to change.org, whose policy is not to take down a petition, even if it is from a quack. But then there's more that you can do. The 5th largest internet website can really use your help. Where besides the homepage for the Brzezinski Clinic are people going for their information? Well, yeah, Wikipedia. Currently, the English Brzezinski page is all updated with the current FDA slapdowns and the USA Today investigations. About 600 people visit the English Wikipedia page a day. And those aren't all skeptics. We know that sick people fly to Houston from all over the world for treatment by Brzezinski. We know they need the best information available for these people to find and in all languages. This especially means Wikipedia pages. Currently, the only non-English Wikipedia page I can vouch for is one translated by my team member, Nick Storff, who has come through time and time again over the last year for me, and this time in Portuguese. Other team members are working on other translations. But where does that leave you? Well, we need you to select the best articles explaining Brzezinski and translate them so that we can recite them back onto the Wikipedia page for people to read in other languages. Also, the videos that David Gorski and Bob Blaskowitz did at TAM explaining who Brzezinski is need to be captioned into English and then translated into other languages. The fight with Brzezinski is not even kind of over. There is a possibility he will move his clinic to other countries, and we need to be ready, connected to that country's skeptic groups, so we can give them the best tools to keep fighting. And when we're done with Brzezinski, we're not done. There are a bunch more waiting for our attention, but we will be stronger, organized, united, and already trained and resourceful, so we can just take them out one by one. I welcome the fight. So write to me at gsowteam@gmail.com. Thank you.
Richard, that just about wraps it up for this episode just before Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho. And Stefan, I'm shocked.
What are you shocked about?
I'm shocked that so many of those predictions didn't come through.
No.
What's the deal?
I'm actually not surprised at all, personally. But yeah, I know it's amazing, isn't it? But they keep making them. I guess they figure that their clients don't bother to flick through old magazines.
You know
must
what?
Be all it
Their
is.
clients don't bother to flick through old magazines, but people like you and I do.
Yeah. That's right. We got to hold them to account.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me. Well, you got one more episode before the end of the year?
And then it's 2014. And in 2014, as soon as the first episode hits the intertubes,
yes,
that will mean the Skeptic Zone would have been broadcast or podcast or whatever you like to call it in 7 different years.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14.
Wow! And didn't you hit some sort of milestone of downloads recently?
Well,
we're
approaching 2 million.
Approaching 2 million.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have a celebration. When
we do. I mean, we can't even ever hope to live up to Brian Dunning's zillions every week, but we're doing our best.
This humble little production here out of our bedrooms and offices and,
in our underwear
and wardrobes. We do pretty well. But Richard, thanks again. It's another great one, and thank you, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas to all.
Whatever you believe in,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because it's just a wonderful time of getting together with family and friends.
It is, and having a few too many, and
yes,
and you know what what a tradition, and it always never fails, is you eat yourself silly on Christmas Day with turkey and all that. And I think sit down, and then about 2 hours later you're wandering back to the kitchen to look for the leftovers to start picking at them again.
I know, and hoping the prawns haven't gone off, or the shrimps, as you might say in overseas.
Yeah.
I always find it funny also is when all the family gets together and you just go, am I really related to these people? Thank God Christmas only comes around once a year. Yeah, but it's always fun. It's always fun. So enjoy, and thank you for listening another year, and we'll catch up with you soon.
See you soon. Bye now.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.